Howdy, friends, and welcome to another episode of Lonesome Pine Losers. I'm your host, Triple JEG3, and today we have our first 2025 season preview. We start in the heart of Russell County with the Trailblazers from Lebanon High School. Last season, Coach Hunter Norris took over the program and came out hotter than a June revival by proceeding to win the first 7 games of the season. A high-powered, fast-paced offense scored an average of 42 points a game, while the defense surrendered only 12. As we all know, life is full of ups and downs, and what goes up must come down. Unfortunately for Coach Norris's team, the downs just happened to include the last 4 contests of the season. In spite of losing several players to graduation, Coach Norris is optimistic and excited for the 2025 campaign. Let's take a listen. We want to welcome Coach Hunter Norris on the show today from Lebanon High School. Coach, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Coach, let's get right into it here. Tell me about this summer. How workouts been going? Tell me what the attitude has been there around the high school this summer.
Yeah, so we've had a really good summer workout. We started kind of at the end of May, started June, and we've had pretty consistent numbers, somewhere between 30 and 40. Most of our summer practices. So we're really excited about that because we've really got to install a lot of our base stuff on both the offense and defensive side of the ball. So we're kind of we've got kind of a jump ahead of everybody. With getting our schemes put in and kind of getting a little bit more familiar. And, we had a really good season last year. And last summer was kind of our first install that we'd ever had. So this summer feels like it's gone a little bit smoother just because the kids kind of know the routine. They know the expectation from this coaching staff. And, it's just been a really smooth transition into the summer workout period.
Coach, is this your second year? How many years have you been at Lebanon, sir?
Yeah, so last year was my first season. I got hired in February, and we got started in June. So this is I've been fully around for a full year now. So this is going into my second season here at Lebanon.
So last season was your first season as a head football coach.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that, Coach. What was that like?
I would say that I didn't feel like it was, this season or past season felt any different from any previous season, that I've really coached. My previous head coaches that I've had before have really let me be involved and, let me be myself and coach. So, I felt like, other than, having to do interviews and fundraising and, different things like that, like touchdown club meetings, adding that to my coaching list, I would say it's pretty much the same. I've got a lot of really good people that help me out here at Lebanon that take a lot off my plate. So, I was excited for the opportunity and, grateful also that I had a lot of people around me that helped me make my job a lot easier as a head coach.
Yeah, that's always important. I think feel like you're only as good as the people around you. So that's good. So going from year one to year two, are there going to be any big changes that you're going to, because it's a process. Everybody kind of learns a little bit here and there. So are there going to be any wholesale changes?
Not really, schematically, wise for us on the offensive defensive side of the ball. We're bringing back the same staff. We've got a lot of returning players that played last year. So kind of like I said with our summer workouts, where the kids are kind of getting familiar with the system. They know what the expectations are. They know what we're doing. It seems like the more we go at it, and the more practices we get, just the smoother it gets, and the more comfortable the kids get with the transition into the schemes on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Speaking of transition, did you lose a lot of kids through graduation?
Yeah, so we lost about 15, 16 kids off of our team last year.
Oh my.
Yeah, so we were senior heavy on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, we lost 2 receivers and 3 linemen. But we have some kids that are stepping into those places that were backups last year. So they had a little bit of game time experience last year. When maybe we pulled ahead or we were behind, we kind of got those guys in there, made sure they got some reps and got some game time experience. So we feel really good. We've lost a lot, but we feel comfortable with the guys that we've got stepping in to replace those guys.
Very good. So when so when folks come to see Lebanon play this year, what are they going to see? What kind
Uh,
of aspirations do you have for your team when you roll out there on Friday night?
Well, last year I think Lebanon saw a different style of football last year than they had seen in the past. Lebanon with John Adams, they were power eye. They would run the ball, and they were tough, and they would get 3-4 yards in a cloud of dust, and they had a really big reputation for being really tough kids and having really good athletes. This past season and this season ahead, our philosophy is we want to throw the ball a lot. We have a really good quarterback. We have several good wide receivers and skill players from all wide receiver spots, and our tailback can catch out of the backfield. So it wasn't rare to see us throw the ball 50 to 60 times last year, and we try to mix that air raid style of attack with an up tempo scheme and an up tempo offense to try to wear down our opponents, physically. So, that's kind of our thought process and kind of what our identity is offensively. Uh, we want to be up tempo. We want to try to get, as many plays, as we can. Most offenses probably run about 40 to 50, like 50, 60 plays. We want to try to run about 80 or 90, and we want to try to get as many plays in as we can and go as fast as we can. Uh, Defensively, last year, I was very happy with my defensive coordinator, DJ Hawley, did a fantastic job, and the rest of our defensive staff. We were very senior heavy on that defense last year, so they had a lot of experience. They were very familiar with DJ and what he wanted to do. And I felt like those guys last year, like if you played Lebanon football last year and you watched our defense play, you you thought those guys were tough and that they flied around to the football and that they felt like they had a constant motor that just never quit.
Yeah, that's important. I've always heard and said that pursuit on defense is a barometer of team morale. So if guys are getting after on defense, and that there's a really good chance that morale is high. Well, that's exciting, Coach. How has the how so you talked there a little bit about a change in style and a change in philosophy. Has the community embraced that? Because I know most communities in Southwest Virginia identify with the team, and they want to be able to identify with it. And like you say, from the style of what's been around, sometimes people whatever have the kids bought into it?
Yeah, no, the kids absolutely love it. They love, like last year we had the ability to play. I had one kid that played both ways last year, and
Oh wow,
so
that's
it was
that's
good.
that's significant.
Yeah, so it was good that we had basically a two platoon team, for each side of the ball, and we had just that one kid that played both sides of the ball most of the time, and that was a big asset to why we could go so fast and why we could use tempo offensively, because we knew, you know, if we scored fast or we ran tempo and got up and those guys started to get a little bit tired, that they were going to be able to come back to the bench and sit and rest for a little bit so they would be able to recover for the next series. And that was big for us here in Southwest Virginia because not a lot of people have that luxury. They don't have the luxury of being able to go two platoons. So, uh, that was a big asset for us, and I felt like that was something that gave us an edge over a lot of different teams last year.
Oh, Coach, I would echo that. I mean, it's almost unheard of in schools in that area that you don't have kids who rarely come off the field, and the ability to do that, to get guys off the field, man, that makes a difference. Not only in the fourth quarter of every game, but late in the season, because football is a long season. It's not a track meet; it's a tractor pull. And
Yeah,
if those guys are leg weary come October, November, and you've got to roll into the playoffs, the legs feed the wolf. So you've got to
yeah.
keep those guys fresh. So that's so you feel like you're going to be able to do that this year too. You're going to be able to roll out there with a few kids playing both ways.
Yeah, so we feel like that this year we probably won't tell. Like, I'm not going to say that we're a two platoon team. I'm going to say we're a 1.5 platoon team. So we're going to have some kids that are going to have to play both sides of the ball, but for the majority, we're especially on the offense and defensive line, we feel like that we're going to have guys to where we can only play them one way. Our defensive line will be just defensive line, and our offensive line will just be offensive line, and that'll be huge for us because that's where we believe games are won and lost is in the trenches. And, being able to have those guys being fresh and available, kind of like you said, it helps with injury reduction and, helps with recovery and, trying to make up for that where some teams in our area aren't able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And especially with younger kids, learning the game and getting experience, not having to focus on learning, offense and defense. Hey, I can focus on just this one set of rules and this one set of skills that I can master. So I think that's important. And then as they get older and develop, might be able to find some place where you can plug them in somewhere else. Hey, Coach, tell me about your schedule. But has your schedule changed from last year? Are there any new opponents?
Yeah, so last year we used to play Castlewood, and that was kind of like we played both of the Russell County schools in the area. They ended up dropping us this year or this cycle, so we picked up the Union Bears. They're one of the best teams in the region for 2A. So we had talked about last year when we played Graham, they won the state championship, and we had a really good game with them here at Lebanon last year that went down to the wire. And our philosophy and kind of what I told these kids is that like we want to play the best. If we want to be the best, we've got to play the best. And if you guys want to go to the playoffs, you're going to see these teams anyway. So we need to try to play them during the regular season and see kind of, where we stand and what we need to fix or what we need to work on. So they're our only new opponent that we've added this year on the schedule. But that's going to be an exciting game. We'll have them after our open week. So we're really excited about that matchup and playing them over at Bullet Park.
Oh, so you're going over to Big Stone Gap to play?
Yes.
That's quite a trip. No, that's a great place. That's a great place to play. I'm listening.
Yeah, I've been over there. I think 2 times. I coached at Addington whenever I first got out of college from playing football, and we went over there I think twice. And it's a great atmosphere. The fans are rowdy, so it's a great atmosphere for a Friday night for sure.
Very good. Well, Coach, listen, we want to thank Coach Hunter Norris for being here on the program. And we want to wish him and all the fine people there in the county seat of Russell County the best of luck this season. And Coach, we want to thank you so much for being on here. We want to hope to get you back on sometime in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.